What's going on, y'all? And today I'll be teaching you guys the strongest build you can play right now on the PvE server and on a live server in a couple days for set 9.5. Now, this comp is confirmed to be nerfed. It is going to be nerfed on the day one patch. However, I do not think they're going to nerf it completely out of the meta because it is pretty broken right now. And just with a little bit of nerfs, it'll still be very strong. But even if it does get nerfed out of the meta, it is definitely worth learning because there are loads of flex spots in this board. There are loads of different variations, and just getting the reps in will help you a lot in your overall set 9.5 grind because, yeah, even if this comp gets nerfed out of the meta, it will come back. It is going to be a core composition to the game. And this is the Silco Azir Strategist Juggernaut build. Now, this is very similar to the Lux Strategist Azir build from last set, but it's a lot more fun because there are a lot of flex variations. Last set, if you guys like that build, then you'll probably like this one. But last set, you had to play the same exact units every single game, so it's pretty boring. But there are loads of flex spots, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So here is the core. What you see on your screen is the core to the build. These are the units that you're going to be playing every single game. But other than that, there are flex spots. Notice we only have 5 units here. And we'll talk about itemization in just a second once we talk about some more stuff. And then the general core, if you guys are one of those people you really want to default, you don't want to worry about flexing too hard, here is the default build. So if you don't know what to do, this is the default that you can play every single game. Now, you definitely should learn different variations, but if you don't want to do that, you can play this every game. And so basically, we just added Warwick and Misfortune, and we'll talk more about Zaun stuff in a second. So what is the indicator to play this comp? The indicator to play this comp right now, it's so broken you can play it every game. But once it's like in a better spot, the true indicator to play the comp is going to be having the Shurima Noxus opener. This is going to be your best bet. If you have this opener and you can use a lot of different items, a lot of different item holders, this is for sure the best opener here, as we can use Cassiopeia can carry either Silco's or Azir's items. Samira can do the same. It's great, and you get to play Swain on your board. You can play around Juggernauts because Darius is in this build, right? So it's very easy to play this and then transition into our actual strategist build later. You can also do kind of a Bilgewater opener, can be a fine indicator to play, but this is the best one. Cassiopeia is extremely stable at the time of making this video. Even on early parts of stage 4, it's kind of crazy. Like if you're able to go fast 8 and that sort of thing, it is pretty nice. The other indicators to play this build is going to be if you have Juggernaut or Strategist emblems. Those are going to be a very good indicator to play this as well. Now, what legends are we going to be playing with this build? The legends that we want to play are Earth is very good. Earth is just really, really, really strong right now and a really good legend for everyone to be playing around. And especially, we can get our Strategist or our Juggernaut emblem. You can also get a Shurima emblem, but the build looks extremely different, and you're more so playing a Shurima build rather than like the Juggernaut build. But we're not going to talk about that variation too much, because I think it is the weakest of the variations. And I just think you're playing a different board. I think if you get Shurima emblem, you should be looking to flex into Fiora instead of Silco. You can still play Silco, but I more so lean towards the Fiora side. That's why we're not going to talk about too much. And the other legends you can play, Ezreal, Bard, and Ornn are the other ones I recommend. Just extra items are so good because one of the win conditions of this comp is to make sure you have 3 items on your Silco, 3 items on your Azir, and then you really need tank line items. So anything that gives you extra items is going to be great for you. Let's talk a little bit about Ornn. If you guys want to play Ornn, I don't like playing Ornn right now, just because of you only get the 2 options thing, and then if you get options that don't allow you to play this board and you're trying to force or play around this build, then you're locked out of playing it. What I really like in this build is Zhonya's. If you have Zhonya's Azir, it's a free win, assuming you can hit the board. Zhonya's Azir is broken, and then Monazane on Silco is very strong. That is very, 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 very good. I've seen some people say like Collector Silco is okay and that sort of thing, but I don't know about that one. It seems a little tough to do. But yeah, those are the ones we really like. I could see you also taking Spirit Visage and putting it on your Nasus and playing around Shurima and that sort of thing. I could see that being an angle. But yeah, in general, I would recommend mostly play Earth, Ezreal, and Bard. But if you like to play Ornn, you can play Ornn. Additionally, you can play Vlad, as Transfusion is pretty good in this. Battle Ready, Ascension is good. But I just think it's better just to get more items right now or to get the emblems with Earth and that sort of thing. So the win condition of this build, as we talked about a second ago, is going to be a Silco and Azir 2 with 3 items and an upgraded frontline. So let's talk about the items real quick. So as you can see, Azir, I have 2 items. I have Rageblade RFC +1. That seems to be his best in slot. Why Rageblade and RFC? Just the upfront attack speed is amazing on RFC, and ever since they added the 12% at damage buff to this item moving into the set, it feels very nice. And just Azir never having to walk, him staying at 5 range and never having to move from his corner and just constantly pelting people feels very, 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 very good. So this is the best in slot probably right now. Rageblade RFC +1. You can go Shiv, you can go Gunblade, you can go Jeweled Gauntlet. I wouldn't necessarily recommend Deathcap or Archangel because you have so much AP from Strategist. But yeah, just anything, any really good item. Giant Slayer, Guardbreaker, those are all going to be fine for you. And then Silco, his BIS every single game is going to be Blue Buff and Morello. But his third item, guys, you can play a lot of third items. And if you can't get Blue Buff, you can do Sojin or Poor Man Sojin, Adaptive Helm, that's fine. But we want to go Morello. And then additionally after that, you can go like Gunblade, you can go Jeweled Gauntlet, you can go Guardbreaker and go GS, man. I've had some builds where I didn't even get Morello. Morello you definitely want, especially once you're going against like other builds that are stall-esque and they have a lot of healing. You just don't have enough damage to get through them. So you definitely want Morello. But I've had some games where I went like Guardbreaker, Sojin, QSS, and my Silco was like carrying still. Now my cap was pretty low because I didn't have Morello, but just so you know, you can put a lot of different items third on there. So when you're playing this comp, ideally you would like to go fast 8 if you can. Obviously we always want to do that because the comp you can really maximize all the variations of these comps at level 8, but most of the time you're going to have to roll on 7, and when you roll on 7, you're going to look for a board that looks something like this. You just want some upgraded units and all that good stuff. So let's talk a little bit about Zaun variation. So as I said, in the core I have over here, I don't have Warwick over here because sometimes you can get away with not playing Warwick and you can play like Aatrox or something like that as your one Juggernaut and play more of a flex style. But typically you will just play Warwick. And the Zaun mods that are good on him are Virulent is by far the best one for Silco. It's super, super, super good. And then Adaptive is pretty good. Adaptive Implant because it just gives them flat 30 AP. You can just use that just fine. I played Robotic Arm with Sojin and it's not that bad. It's not necessarily, I played like Sojin Shiv with Robotic Arm, and that felt fine as well. So if you just want to play Warwick every game, it is going to be fine no matter the Zaun mod. But you definitely want Virulent for sure. Virulent is a very good indicator, and then Adaptive is fine as well. Let's talk about some augments here. So augments, we're going to do Strategist or Juggernaut emblems are going to be very good for you. Item augments, like we already talked about, that's why we want to play those legends that give us those things. Transfusion is very good. Just extra HP to the build is going to be nice. Anything that makes your team tankier. 2 healthy is good, and we have a complete variation. If you get offered 2 healthy, that is an indicator to play a different variation of the comp, and we'll show that to you in a second. Magic Wand is great. You need a lot of rods in this build, and just extra AP is always going to be good. And then generally just really any combat augments are going to be great for you. So let's go through some of the variations here. And so here is the 2 healthy variation right here. And this is if you get offered 2 healthy early on in the game, or maybe just late, or maybe in mid game or something, whatever. You're going to play this comp, and this is like really the highest cap. You don't even need to play legendaries. Legendaries aren't super good right now, and just like getting 2 healthy with these 3 units on your board essentially makes it to where you have like cybernetic implants or cybernetic bulk, on every single one of your units. It feels really, really, really nice. Scales with Shurima, feels very, very, very good. Scales Nasus, all the good stuff. And Juggernauts are great with extra HP. So you just play the 4 Juggernaut, you end up playing 3 Strategists, and this team is really, really, really tanky. I watched Ramblin play this last night, and he was like struggling to find a cap. He was so far ahead, and he was struggling to find a way to change his team, and I don't even think he changed his team at all and went first with this team in a very sweaty lobby. Cool. So this is the 2 healthy variation. Very easy to play. Very good. And then next up, we're going to talk about the Juggernaut Emblem variation. So Juggernaut Emblem, very, 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 very good. It's going to go onto your Jarvan always, unless you hit a Swain 3. So I've played this comp a lot. I've been practicing it quite a bit, and I've randomly hit Swain 3 several times. Just if you're on maps where you get free rerolls like Rat Town, that sort of thing, it's worth holding the extra Swains, assuming it doesn't like gut your econ or anything like that. Don't go super out of your way for a Swain 3, but Swain is very good unit to itemize in the early game, and I end up just picking up extra Swains because I want to remake the Swain and move the items to Nasus if I end up having to itemize him as my main tank for early and mid game. And so if you're picking up those extra Swains, and then when you do your level 7 roll down, you're just hitting a bunch of Swains, hey man, buy the Swain 3. Don't go super out of your way to get it. Don't ruin your whole econ, ruin everything going on in your game. But if you can hit the Swain 3, it is very strong. And then in that case, the Juggernaut Emblem would go on Swain. And this is what the build's going to look like if you have Juggernaut Emblem. Pretty simple, guys. You just play play 4 Juggernauts. You put Juggernaut Emblem here, and you can play the Bilgewater dude right here, Nautilus, if you don't hit it. Next up, we're going to talk about the Strategist variation. This is Strategist Bilgewater. So this is if you get a Strategist Emblem, you're going to look to play Gangplank and 3 Bilgewater. It can feel quite nice. And essentially, you're just going to play 5 Strategists, and you're going to play Gangplank. Right here, we don't have Warwick in this build. This is also a situation where the Warwick is not very good for us. So let's say it's like Robotic Arm. We don't have Virulence. If it's not Virulence, you can look to not play Warwick. It'll be okay. Like adaptive doesn't mean that you have to play Warwick. But if it's Virulent, you don't play Nautilus, and you just play the same board without Bilgewater. But if the Warwick is not good, then definitely play Nautilus. GP is great. You can frontline GP or you can backline GP. Just I generally like to frontline GP when I'm playing this. You just need a lot of frontline, a lot of buying time. But if you have extra AP items, you want to itemize them, put them on your backline. That can be good to go as well. And so just some final notes talking about this. This comp is right now very hard forceable. It's very contested, but if you're playing on a PvE, this makes for very good practice playing in a contested meta. As you guys know, early on in sets, very often we are playing in very contested metas. So I think this is really good practice if you guys are playing on the PvE server right now. Swing 3 is worth chasing. 6 Juggernaut is worth chasing in the high roll scenario where you have double Juggernaut emblems. So look to play 6 Juggernaut if you can chase it, but again, just don't go super out of your way for it, but it is worthy. Anyways, guys, this is a quick little guide. Definitely a comp worth learning, and good luck on your climb. Hey, press the subscribe button. Do it. Just do it. I post content constantly, and I would really appreciate you being here. And I stream here on YouTube, so if you follow me, you'll see that I'm live, and you can ask me questions about these builds and that sort of thing. So appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.